What is up, guys? Professor Art here. This video is going to be titled Why I Never Suffered by Dysmorphia from Steroid Users. So this is going to be a bit ironic as hell. So, body dysmorphia, what the hell is it exactly? So, according to the Google, it's an obsessive focus on a particular part of your body or even portions of your body. It's this compulsion. It's a compulsion you have in regards to a perceived flaw. Now, steroid users can play a large part in fucking up how people are perceived, fucking up how the average Joe is perceived. Not the average Joe, but the average weightlifter. They go on Instagram and see a guy that's sauced the fuck up, sauced to the gills, very juiced up, they're on Rad 140, Deca, Test. I mean, it's a goddamn shame that I know a lot about all these drugs, right? It's a goddamn shame because they're so out there, you know, rinse straw, all that shit. It's a shame, but that's when the cookie crumbled. We let the genie out of the box, and now this is what it is. So this essentially, the weightlifter has, or the bodybuilder, the aspiring natural bodybuilder has this disparity in which he perceives a flaw in which himself, and this is actually motivated. This is actually stemmed from these steroid users. Now, as far as that shit fell the fuck down, okay, so I never actually suffered from body dysmorphia. Yeah, now that I really think about it, like I never saw a steroid user and compared myself to that steroid user and said to myself, oh man, like, you know, why am I not as big as this guy? Why can't I have traps as big as this guy? Why is my bicep vein not coming out like this guy? You know, like I never had this envious perception towards that user, and I'm going to describe why that is exactly. So, ultimately, I never compare myself to others. That's for starters. I never had a tendency to compare myself to others in the gym, or even in regards to numbers. And to be honest, I'm not exactly sure why that is. Like, I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe because I perceive weightlifting as some sort of spiritual thing in which I'm bettering myself. I'm here for me, myself, and I. Even though people ask me from time to time, "Oh, are you going to go into a bodybuilding show anytime soon?" Whatever. And I never really thought about doing that because I never looked at this as some sort of contest in which I need to compare myself to others. It was more so, how can I better myself? How can I become 1% better than I was the preceding day? So, reason number two, I always perceived PED use in a negative light. Even when I was roughly, how fucking old was I when I was watching World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE? I think I was roughly 9 years of age when I was watching it. Yes, I was 9 years of age when I got introduced to wrestling. Well, heavy. Like I was super young. I got introduced to wrestling, whatever, given, like, you know, 7 or 6 years of age. But 9 years of age was when I really got into it. Yes, I was really fucking into it. My brother and I used to wake up, you know, when I wake up, whatever, we used to stay up, whatever, late at night watching Monday Night Raw. And then Friday would come along. My parents would buy, I had fond memories of it. My parents would buy us, you know, Chinese food. We watch Friday Night SmackDown. I don't know if it's on Fridays anymore. I don't watch wrestling anymore, but. And there's this guy named Chris Benoit, and he passed away. When I passed away from natural causes, yeah, we all know what happened. He ended up, to make a long story short, he ended up killing his family. And steroid use contributed to the dilemma he had, these mental illnesses he had. And because of that, I always perceive steroids in a negative light. I perceive it as cheating yourself, you're cheating your body, you're cheating your family, and you're going to overall go down this line of destruction and misery and terror. And I always disassociated myself from that as far as possible. And so whenever I'm on Instagram, I see a guy on steroids and I see a guy on drugs, I think to myself, man, that must suck. Well, initially when I was getting into fitness heavy, I was thinking, man, that must suck to have to worry about all that and have all these psychological problems to be tempted to take these drugs. Now, of course, I don't have that perception in the sense of where I see a guy on drugs. I don't feel sorry for him in the sense of how I felt sorry for him back then, in the sense where it's like, wow, like he must have deep psychological problems. No, obviously he's probably getting his blood work done. He's probably really intact with it. However, that's why I stay away from steroids even more. Like it's even more of a larger term for me to actually stay away from, because there's so many varying factors now. So you have to worry about your testosterone levels possibly plummeting in the near future, because once you get off the shit, you have to worry about liver toxicity if you're taking a lot of orals. You have to worry about your blood pressure. You have to worry about your liver, your kidney function, your gut microbe. all of your internal organs can possibly shut down because you're taking this external drug. And I always associated steroid use, like, even onto my adulthood. I go on Instagram, I can't be jealous of these people. Like, I can't develop a dysmorphia from these people because I perceive that as not just a minor inconvenience. It is a significant inconvenience to have to worry about going to sleep and possibly not waking up. And yes, you might say I'm being hyperbolic in a way, but yes, you are killing yourself by placing these drugs within your body and not having any blood work done. But even if you're getting blood work done, in my humble opinion, you're still juggling chainsaws ass naked, and like you're fucking juggling chainsaws ass naked underneath a pit of a volcano that's about to erupt. That analogy sounds very ridiculous, and I apologize for that, but that's how I feel in regards to taking steroids at the moment. Reason number, I never numbered these reasons. I don't know why I'm numbering them. Okay, so fitness influencers as a whole, I never had a parasocial relationship with these users. So everyone was always a big fan of David Lade. What was it? So you had the David Lade, you had the Ziz. I was too busy watching the Halls twins. I was too busy watching the Halls twins, Elliot Halls, Scott Herman Fitness, Chris Jones. And they all had this United for Life mindset. But I never had a parasocial relationship with them. Like, I never connected with them in a sense where my identity was tied towards them. If you watch a lot of Ziz fanboys in the past, or even Ziz fanboys now, they were really connected to them. If you see a lot of these guys on Instagram who are DMing these fans, like they're really, really connected to them. It's almost like, remember that Eminem song, Stan? It's almost like they're individual stands themselves. They have this deep psychological attachment towards their perceived fitness influencer, and they're tremendous fans of them. Like they're big fans of them, which is not necessarily a terrible thing in the sense of, oh man, they're just completely gonna die. But however, it can lead out of half a misery because you're trying to idolize them to the point where you just to the point where you never develop your own personality, and so you try to implement certain practices that they embark on, certain training methods that they embark on, certain ways of living that they embark on. You're trying to incorporate that within your life because you think it's going to make you happy. You have no identity of yourself, and so that can lead you down a path of comparing yourself to them. Oh, my shoulders not as wide, my biceps not as thick. I don't have the vascularity as these fitness influencers, and I could never get down by that. I never obsessed over that shit. Which, speaking of the Hawes twins, my fitness influencers, right? What I took inspiration from were, of course, people I listed previously, right? The Halls twins, Chris Jones, Scott Homer Fitness. You had Elliot Halls, even Omar Esau. Even though he's more strength orientated, I had these influencers that were not. They weren't about chasing the shreds, brah. Oh, I could be so vascular, so veiny. No, granted, they had periods of time where they were very vascular and they were extremely pumped and peaked. But they would always bring forth the transparency in regards to the sustainability of how difficult it was to maintain that certain physique year round. And that's not to say that there isn't a middle ground, because there's a middle ground. I'm sick and tired of people saying that, oh, it's either fupa bulk or be shredded. Fupa bulk or be shredded. No, there's an in-between. You can select the body composition that is in between, that makes you physically happy, giving you enough strength and cognitive focus to carry these practices in life, whatever. You don't have to have a brain fog because you're so calorically depleted. But you also don't have to have, walking around a flight of steps, whatever, getting winded. No, there's an in-between. And I learned that in-between from watching all these fitness influencers in the past who I took light into. And also, my influences were also derived from anime. So, I'm a big Goku fan. I fucking love Son Goku, Vegeta fans get super pissed off at me, they really hate us Goku fans. Like, man, Vegeta fans cannot stand us Goku fans. They're like, oh, you guys are playing it safe, Vegeta's better. Yeah, right. Eat a dick. Goku's better. Ha ha ha. But yeah, Goku. So Son Goku, my big influence, whatever, right? So you say Son Goku. Also, you have John Cena from World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, what do these two icons have in common? It's fictional. It's fake. Yes, wrestling is fake, and even though, Cena, a lot of people would think that or say that, I don't really care personally. They say, oh, he's not natural. He's on TRT now. He was blasting steroids in the past. I don't give a fuck about that, So as a kid, watching wrestling, I already instilled it within my mind that all this is fake. None of this is real. And also, as a person who watches anime, yes, anime is blatantly fake. It's fictional. However, you gain inspiration from this fiction, whatever. What was Goku's message? Trying to reach the best version of himself in spite of going through all these hardships and difficulties. What was John Cena's message, whatever, you know, rise above hate, muscle loyalty, respect. And it was almost very Superman-like, which is why they call him Super Cena in a sense, but it's funny how a supposed steroid user, right, influenced me to, you know, further influenced me to derive from not taking steroids. However, it's fictional. I can disparage between what is fictional and what is real. And so because of that, right, because of anime and wrestling, I acknowledge that what I see on Instagram, 99% of it's fake. It's not real. These people are taking photos and lighting that just makes them look more flattering than ever. They have a peak week and they're going into bodybuilding shows, probably cranked the fuck off on a lot of drugs and copious amounts of PEDs that make them look incredibly swollen and incredible, right? However, they're taking all these pictures and they're slowly but surely placing them online at a certain period of time. So it'll be December and they're heading into their crazy ass bulk, right? However, they're posting a picture of them very shredded and peeled. When in actuality, they don't look like that currently. They're not peaked. Granted, they still look great. However, they don't look like that currently, and that can cause a lot of young teens, a lot of late teens, a lot of early 20-year-olds to watch and look at them and say, "Man, I can't look like that." And because of, you know, I'm still relatively young myself, right? But I never clicked on Instagram and saw them and said, "Man, yo, I wish I could look like that. Oh my God!" And I looked at myself in comparison. No, because I acknowledge that all this shit is fake. So the Dysmorphia just cannot attack me because I already instilled within my mind, okay, Professor Art, this is fake. It's not real. And that's essentially what the hell it is. That's essentially why I never suffered from body dysmorphia from steroid users or even Instagram fitness influencers in the past. Like, I never had a parasocial relationship from them. I acknowledge that all this shit is fake. My two biggest influencers in my childhood, aside from my dad, Papa Art really got me into lifting in the past because I couldn't beat him in arm wrestling, and that's why I'm gonna make a story of my origin story in regards to my origin story into fitness. But aside from Papa Art, you had John Cena and Son Goku teaching this never give up message. And even when Goku reached Super Saiyan God, right? When they held hands, you know, that gay ass methodology of getting Super Saiyan God, they should have never really gotten to that, but that's besides the point. And when he was fighting Lord Beer, she said, "Man, it sucks that I got this power in this way. Like, I don't like the way I got this power," because he felt the strength wasn't his own. That sounds natty as fuck. Someone, you know, who's a fucking illegal alien like Goku, right, saying that, "Man, like, this strength it doesn't feel like the strength is my own. Like, I wish I could have achieved the fact that I can't achieve the strength on my own. It pisses me off." Like, yeah, so essentially, that's why I never suffered body dysmorphia from steroid users. And that's basically it, guys. 13 minutes. Let's see if I can edit this and take out the autistic retardation. Possibly not. I'm probably gonna post it raw because I can't stand editing. Okay, guys. Peace.
Fatality.